It is already day 2 of FPL price reviews and I'm here to present them all to you. I will be going through the prices that came out late last night, I'm going to go through the prices that came out today, and I will be going through the prices that we got sent by FPL through notifications and emails. As always, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like to the video and write down in the comment section below if those prices are fair, if they're overpriced, underpriced. Just share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And now, without further ado, let's see those prices. We will be starting today by revealing Fulham. Their prices got revealed late last night and I didn't manage to put them in the yesterday video, but they are pretty good prices. Mitrovic is 7.5, pretty okay price. I like him as a player. Let's see how he gets after the ban that he got, because he wasn't the same player after he returned from that. He got a slight injury and it was a little bit of shambles. Tete and Riam, both 4.5 defenders. That's a good defensive price for them, especially for Tete. If he remains a starter and if he improves his form, he may be even considered for rotation. Riam is not a very valuable player in my opinion for fantasy, because he's not getting a lot of goals, not a lot of clean sheets, not a lot of at all attacking returns, so I will be staying away from him. But I can focus on Tete because Tete is a very good player and he is a fullback, so his involvement in the attacking part of the field is going to be big. We have to see if they save Polinia, because if they sell him, their defensive record will drop, because when he was not playing, they did not keep a lot of clean sheets and then conceded a lot of goals. But when Paulinho was on the field, they were playing significantly better. So we have to see what is going on there. But Tete is added to the shortlist. And all-time favorite from last season, Pereira, who was 4.5, is this season 5.5, which is a pretty okay price for him. He got injured late at the season and he missed the last couple of games. But if he comes back through preseason and he is injury free, I will be considering him, because he is a very good player, and for 5.5, sorry, he is going to be a pretty good player. So a player with 5.5 that's proven in the Prem, is taking set pieces, he's scoring goals, he will be getting more accustomed to the Premier League when he's starting another season. So Paulinho will be a good option to consider alongside Tete and Leno, let's not forget, because he was revealed as well yesterday and he is a 4.5 goalkeeper. My thoughts from Fulham: consider Tete, Pereira and Mitrovic. They're on okay prices, but we have to see full prices to see where they will fit our teams, because Haaland and Thread set up the standard height and we have to find those hidden gems for low prices. Next up is Nottingham Forest, and their prices look okay. Johnson, he is now a mid. I predicted that in my positional changes prediction video. For me, he was playing very well as an attacking midfielder. He was not a sole striker, because Awoni was the guy that played there. There is Griswold, Dennis, a lot of players there. The only worry about Nottingham Forest is the rotation, because they have Morgan Gibbs-White, they have Johnson, they have Wood, they have Dennis, they have Awoni, and that are 5 attacking players for maybe 2 or 3 spots. So we have to see how they are going to line up. But Brennan Johnson is a very exciting player, and now when he is a mid, I may even consider him. Awoni, good price, 6.5. Nothing too special about him. If he becomes a regular starter, he is a good option at that price, but for now I will be staying away from him. Danilo, 5.5, I'm just not interested. In the previous section we saw that Pereira is 5.5, and in my opinion he is better than Danilo, so I don't see me picking him. And Torreira, 4.5. We don't know if he is nailed. He can play the left and the right side, but Neco Williams is there. If they are going to introduce someone on the left side, because Wody was playing last year, he is now back to Atletico. We have to see what's going on with Nottingham, and I'm afraid of the second season syndrome, because Nottingham were not particularly good last season and they just escaped by a little margin. And if Burnley are here to stay, Nottingham may be a team to consider for relegation, but we have to see. But for sure, exciting prospects. Brennan Johnson is a very good player, and we have to see if he can play together with Morgan Gibbs-White. And who is going to be up front, we have to wait and see. So Brennan Johnson added to the shortlist, but he's a very low priority for me. The first prices that got revealed in day 2 were Chelsea's, and oh boy, they have some interesting prices. Let's talk about Sterling first. He's 7.0 million. That's a pretty good price for a player of the rank of Sterling if he becomes a starter once again under Pochettino, and he's a 7.0 playing midfielder of the qualities that Sterling possesses. I believe that he will be a very, very good choice to your team. He's competing with Mitoma price-wise, and I believe Sterling is better because he's a proven player. He can play on the right, on the left. He's just good. Mudryk as well, 6.5. I'm not convinced yet that Mudryk is the guy for Chelsea. He's fast, but not as fast as some wingers already being and taking place in the Prem status as a starter, so Mudryk is an avoid for me for now because Mitoma is the same price range, and for that price Mitoma in my opinion is better, so Sterling added to the shortlist for sure. And the most interesting thing here is their fullbacks. Reece James and Chilwell got their price drops because they played so badly last year, but this year under Pochettino, if they're deployed as wingbacks and even as fullbacks, their attacking potential may be enormous. Under Pochettino, they will thrive for sure, and 5.5 for Reece James and Ben Chilwell is a no-brainer. I like Chilwell more because he has more goal scoring possibilities, but they have more options on the left with Luis Ho and Cucurella, while on the right, Reece James seems to have no competition. They sold Aspilicueta, they sold Loftus-Cheek, so no one is taking up his spot if he is injury free. So we have to see how they line up in preseason, but both of them are very, very high on my shortlist, and they may be in the team if I consider to go with only one premium, which is going to be Haaland, of course, and I would deploy Trent and maybe Reece and Chilwell, maybe both. We have to see the other prices, but I'm pretty excited for those price drops because Sterling, James and Chilwell may find place in my team pretty soon, and they may be staying for a lot of time for game week 1 onwards. Next up, we have one of the best teams from last season, Newcastle, and oh boy, their prices look very, very good. I'll start with the most important one in my opinion, that is Botman. He's 4.5 for a starting defender for Newcastle defense. Yeah, he's not getting a lot of scoring opportunities and he's not scoring a lot of goals, but he's 4.5 defender in a top 4 defense. That is a starter. I know he's a center back, but oh boy, he's coming into my team. I'm going to rotate him with someone with good fixtures for the start, but he's there for the good fixtures that they have because he's 2 million cheaper than Trippier, and he's going to provide to me the clean sheets, maybe some bonus if they win 1-0 or become 0-0 a game. With the introduction of Tonali, their defense will improve because he's a very good holding GM. And Botman at 4.5, he's a steal in my opinion. So consider him very highly because he will have another very, very good season in the FPL in my opinion. The other prices are pretty good as well. Joelinton, I'm not interested enough because he's a left winger, then he's a DM, then he's a midfielder, then he's a second striker. I don't know what's going on with him, but I believe that his minutes may be reduced a little bit, so I'll be avoiding him. But Bruno Guimaraes, on the other hand, having Tonali behind his back, he will be deployed even further, and he can provide a lot of more going opportunities. Last season, Shelby was injured, and then he left the team, so Bruno was deployed as their holding GM to say, and he was not as good as the season before, where he had someone behind his back, and he was able to be playing up front and scoring more goals. But this season, Botman and Bruno are very highly ranked in my opinion because they're pretty good and their price is low. Newcastle are going to be great once again with the introduction of several signings. So I'm taking up their players and ranking them very highly. So consider them as well. We'll have to see how they line up in preseason. But if last season is anything to show, those two are in my lineup for sure. And last but not least is Isaac. We have not seen Callum Wilson price yet, but I believe it will be something in the same direction as Watkins and Isaac, the same bracket point. Mitrovic is in this bracket as well. We have to see who is going to be their starter, who else they're going to bring in. But for 7.5, he may be a steal and he may take the Premier League by storm. If Callum Wilson is playing in the Champions League, some of the other players will have to provide in the Prem, and Isaac will be a perfect opportunity for him to show his skills the Prem. So I'm very excited for those Newcastle players, and they're cheap as hell, and I enjoy it very much. Botman and Bruno straight into the shortlist for game week 1. Next up we have the Hammers, and I have to be honest, I'm not pretty interested in their prices, but let's discuss them. Bowen 7.0, I think it's a fair price. It's a raise from the price 2 seasons ago, but it's a drop from last season, and that's in the middle where he deserves to be. He was terrifically good the season before last season, but last season he was not as good as it was supposed to be. So yeah, 7.0, a pretty fair price, but compared to Mitoma, I don't see picking Bowen for the start, at least. Antonio 6.0, a pretty good price in my opinion. He is in a lower striker bracket price, and if he starts banging goals, it will be pretty easy to fit him in your team and start getting him regular minutes. He's getting older though, and he's not getting better, let's be honest, but if he continues his form from last season and the season before where he had some purple patches, it is going to be perfectly fine. Benrahma 6.0, not interested in him. He's not nailed. He's a rotation pick, so it will be a waste of a player to put him in for the start. If he becomes nailed, he is good because he's on penalties. 6.0, pretty good price, but because he's not nailed, I'm not interested in him. And Aguer, the best defender in my opinion from their team, 4.5. Pretty good. Sorry, the best central defender, because I think their wing backs are pretty more interesting, but we didn't see their price yet. We have to wait for the full release to see that. But yeah, Aguet 4.5. If you find a rotational pick with him, it will be good. But compared to Botman's 4.5 price, I don't see me going for a West Ham defender. And I believe there will be very low owned, and they will not get into my shortlist for sure. Next up we have Crystal Palace, and first of all we have some news about them. Roy Hodgson is staying for one more season, so that's good or bad, I will leave that decision to you, but yeah, they will not be improving a lot because he will not be a long-term manager. He will be just trying to keep them in the Prem and build around the younger boys that can mature and play better for the next coach that will take him the season after that. But for now we have to see what prices they have. Johnston 4.5. It's an okay goalkeeper, but in my opinion Pickford and Leno for that price are better, and I'm not interested in him. If he was 4.0, yeah, but for now no. Mitchell 4.5. This is an interesting price for a fullback. If he becomes a wingback or something like that, maybe an interesting price, but for now, as I'm already comparing everyone to Botman, I'm not pretty interested in Mitchell because I enjoy Botman more, and Mitchell seems to be not getting as a lot of attacking returns and defensive returns. Maybe under Roy Hodgson they will improve, but if they lose Zaha, we have to see what's going to happen. Pretty interesting prices, put him in the shortlist, but it's very own priority for me. Gay, let's finish with their defenders, 4.5 as well. Okay, he's a nailed player, center back, scoring some goals from time to time. Okay, but the same priority as Mitchell. And Edward, a 5.5 if he becomes nailed. It will be a pretty interesting pick for a Crystal Palace striker for that low of a price. They're already established team in the Prem, and if he continues banging goals and he's not as oftenly rotated with Mateta and Ayo as last season, he will be an interesting pick, but for now, I'm not picking any of those players for the start, let's be honest. Maybe some of the defenders, but for the forwards right now, I will be taking a risk maybe on Morris from Luton before I go to Edward from Crystal Palace. The next prices we got are from the Red Devils, being Manchester United, and we got some of the players that we wanted. First, let's talk about Rashford. He's 9.0, a pretty predictable price. He is more expensive now than Bruno, which is pretty interesting. We will have to choose one of them, in my opinion, because for such a big price, we got them last year for the same price basically together, but we could have sold Bruno to get more players, but now Bruno is sellable and we can get still some players, but we have to see Saka's price, Martinelli's price, maybe Mount if he joins them, but Rashford is nailed for 9.0. If they don't buy a striker, he will be their striker next to Martial because Weghorst already left. I believe they will get a striker and Rashford will be playing on the wing. We have to see, but I'm not pretty tempted to go for him instead of Bruno because he's not on penalties. And yeah, Bruno is a little bit cheaper, and on pens, I don't see me going for Rashford for a start, but we have to see the other prices when the full game is out. Next, Diogo Dalot 5.0. He is being rotated with one Bissaka. So 5.0, I'm not going to be interested in that. When he was a 4.5 defender, it was interesting, but for now, no, we have to see who is nailed, who is playing, who will be playing. I will be staying away from Diogo Dalot, but on the other hand, Luke Shaw 5.5, another very solid defender that is for a 5.5 price. Reece James, Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw are already priced like that. A pretty solid price, 5.5, a price rise because it was required. He got some pretty good purple patches last season. But yeah, Rashford and Luke Shaw into my watch list directly. I'll be picking Bruno instead of Rashford in my opinion, but we have to see with the Mount situation, their preseason games. We have to see, but for now, in this state of mind and in this state of preseason, Bruno is preferred to me than Rashford. And the final guy here is Sancho 7.0. I'm not interested for now. Anthony is on the same side. Maybe Bruno will be playing on the right wing. Sancho is not nailed. So yeah, I'm staying away from him. But the same price as Bowen 7.0. I prefer Mitoma to that. Sorry, Sancho, but yeah. Luke Shaw and Rashford though, straight to the shortlist, and let's continue with the next team. Next up, we got the Everton boys, and here we see some interesting prices. The most interesting for me is Tarkovsky, 4.5. He is a very solid, very reliable, and already established Premier League defender. He's not getting faster, but he is getting more experienced, and under Sean Dyche, he's one of his favorite players. He's playing very well. Everton kept a lot of good defensive numbers last season. Not a lot of clean sheets, but good defensive numbers when Sean Dyche took charge. And I believe this season they will improve slightly for sure, defensively as well. And a 4.5 defender with Botman, I believe those are the two my favorites yet that have been released, and he's going into my considerations for sure. Dwight McNeil, 5.5. He got his form at the end of the season when Everton needed him the most. He is proven, 5.5. Pretty interesting price. And yeah, shortlisted as well. Iwobi and Doucouré. I'm not pretty interested in them. Under Sean Dyche, Doucouré is not getting the same numbers that was getting before in previous season when he scored some goals. Yeah, he scored the most important goal in their last season when he saved them from relegation. But I was pretty more interested in Calvert-Lewin instead of Iwobi or Doucouré. But yeah, we get what we get. And last but not least, Iwobi. Nah, not for me. He's playing a center mid, then a winger, then a fullback, then something. Yeah, I'm staying away from him. Not as good in FPL as in real life for Everton. So yeah, from here, Tarkovsky in my shortlist. Maybe McNeil, but I don't believe in his possibilities, and I will find for sure a better 5.5 or under player that can be playing. Andreas Pereira is 5.5 and Dwight McNeil, and I believe McNeil is not as good as Pereira, so yeah, not interested in him, but Tarkovsky for sure, he's joining Pickford on the shortlist from Everton defensive perspective. Next up is one of the most interesting teams that we are looking for, that is Brighton. We have a hell of a prices. I will talk about the most important player here for me. It's Estupinan, 5.0. This is a bargain in my opinion. This is almost as good as Botman for 4.5. For 9.5 you get so consistent defenders and they're consistently good. Brighton have an amazing start of the season, and 5.0 to access their most attacking wing back is a no-brainer. In my opinion, Dunk will be 4.5. He's not yet revealed, but if Estupinan is 5.0, I don't see Dunk being as high as him. So Dunk may be another option into their defense, and you can rotate him easily, because if you have a Estupinan, just don't rotate him. He should be nailed. He's very good. We have to see how the European football affects them, but for the start, they will have no other distractions. So Estupinan, a perfectly fine placed and priced player. Solly March 6.5, the same as Mitoma. Basically, the game is saying pick one, or you can pick both for 13 million, which is perfectly fine because they're their main wingers. and they're 6.5 both, and that's a pretty good mid-price team. And a lot of players may double up on their midfielders because they have such a good start of the season and their fixtures are amazing. Pascal Gross 6.5. Personally, I'm not very interested because he's the same price as Mitoma and March, but he is not a winger. He can play at right back, at holding DM as a 10. If he is a 10, perfectly fine. He is in contention to be as good as McAllister last season. But if he is deployed as a holding GM, 6.5, it's too much for me. And Danny Welbeck 6.0. Ferguson price is not revealed yet, but I believe it will be pretty much the same because they have the same amount of playing time. We have to see if Ferguson is getting more and more into the starting lineup in the place of Welbeck, but for now I'm staying away for Brighton attackers because their midfielders and their defender is pretty good. We have to see Jason Steele. I hope he's 4.5. He's an option then, but 5.0 seems a pretty low price compared to some other defenders that have already been revealed. And Estupinan 5.0, a pretty good pick not to pick. Yeah, Bournemouth is the last team that we're going to discuss today. This is the 10th team that we're discussing today, and with the 4 that were discussed yesterday, that's 14 of the 20. So we leave 6 teams for tomorrow. If some prices occur during later this evening, I will place them in tomorrow's video. Have in mind that it may be a little bit of later upload because I want to see if every price that is revealed is in the video and to wait, because now I'm just wanting to show to you what happened during the day, but tomorrow will be the last day of reviews and we will review them all together tomorrow. But for now, let's discuss Bournemouth. Dominic Solanke, he is the main man up front, 6.5, a pretty good price, a little bit more expensive than Antonio, but I believe he's better. So 6.5, a pretty good price for a already established Prem striker. He scored some important goals last season. Bournemouth are not the best team to target in my opinion, but if you want to hold a differential pick and for the 6.5 budget, Dominic Solanke is the perfect match for you. Traore 5.0, the same price as Kluivert, so it will be 50-50 between them. Let's see what lineup they put and how they are going to approach the season. The other two guys, Zabarnui from, I butchered that name 100%, but I'm not interested in him. 4.5, far better defenders than him. And Rotwell 5.0, the same, not pretty interested. That wraps up the reviews for today. If you want to see the day 1 reviews and the 20 reviews, click in this link here because I reviewed them yesterday as well. So that's 14 teams. If you enjoy the content, as always, subscribe to the channel because more videos are coming your way. Give a like to the video, write down in the comment section what you think about those prices, and I will see you next tomorrow. Bye!